Happy Tuesday morning. It's Pastor Amanda with Hope, Faith, and Joy Daily Devotion. And we are looking at chapter 2 of the Gospel of John. This morning we start out with a wedding. How exciting! But I got too far ahead. Chapter 2, verse 1 starts out on the third day. All right, so this is important for us. The third day is then automatically supposed to pop in our brain. The third day is when Jesus was resurrected from the cross. So then what we start to put on is Jesus' resurrection is that of the joy and excitement of a wedding. Good things are happening. So we have this moment. So we're now at a wedding. So we're kind of connecting our heavenly banquet with, excuse me, with this banquet we experience here on earth. And then it's kind of interesting because it goes on to say, and the mother of Jesus was there. Mary does not get named in the Gospel of John. She is always identified as the mother of Jesus. And it's just one of these interesting things. And what I find most interesting is that John is the gospel that has the most conversations and interactions with women than the other three gospels. And yet she goes unnamed. And it's just one of those interesting things to pick up on. But what we find then is that they're at this wedding and they run out of wine. And the mother of Jesus says, "Oh no, they're out of wine. What are we going to do?" And Jesus, this is what Jesus says. It is fantastic. I would have liked to have heard this in real life. "Woman, what concern is that to you and to me? My hour has not yet come." So kind of he's saying like it's not the time for me to have to deal with this. And yet you know how mothers are. And she's like, go get some jugs. Go get some jugs. And then he'll tell you what to do. Like she knows what he's capable of. She's his mother. So she's very aware of his abilities. And it's, in some ways, it's like a mother knows when the chicken needs to leave, the roost. It's like she's going to in a loving way. But at the same time, there's almost a sense that she also misuses his abilities, but it works in the Bible. It works for what we think of what Jesus is getting ready to do. It plays into all of that, but it's this sense, I just see mothers being hospitality and making sure everything's are taken care of. So she's making Jesus. So Jesus has them fill 20 to 30 gallons of jugs with water. And then he serves it. And what we discover is that it's not just like okay wine. It's the best wine. And there's this little comment that's made by the bridegroom is that everybody serves the best wine first, so that then you serve the bad wine when everybody's drunk. And if you start to think about Jesus's ministry, like all the prophets have gone before. There's been all these people who've tried to pave the way. And you think about John, but Jesus is the best that has come now. But people aren't recognizing it because they're drunk, or they're just not, their wits aren't fully there, and they're not recognizing that the best is still to come. And so Jesus is the still to come. And so we have that understanding that what Jesus brings is better than the rest. Jesus, and it comes also abundantly. It's not like he just said, let's just get 1 or 2 gallons and then no. 20 to 30 gallons of wine. More than enough, more than they could ever need or want. And so Jesus still provides abundantly for the people. And and it says in verse 11, Jesus did this, the first of his signs in Cana of Galilee, and revealed his glory, and his disciples believed him. And then there's this wonderful little verse 12 again. And I just like it because it's a little different than what we've heard in other gospels. Is that after this, he went down to Capernaum with his mother, his brothers, and his disciples. And what I like about that is we see that it's more than just his disciples. Like, Jesus' group is a little bit bigger than we sometimes imagine. And he hasn't fully excluded his family from his ministry. Actually, his mom and his brothers, they believe in him. And even though he makes these comments about family, it's just a recognition that doesn't happen in all families, but it happens in a lot of families. But yet his family is still there with him. And so it's a pretty cool thing. Now, the next thing that happens in verse 13 is he cleanses the temple. Now, in the other three gospels, this all happens at the end. It is right before he goes to the cross that Jesus cleanses the temple. But we have in John, Jesus cleansing the temple at the very beginning as kind of this action of, this is what I'm here to do. I am here to purify and cleanse the temple and give everybody access to God. Like everybody, like these money changers have got to get out. And so it's this recognition that this is what I am here to do. So bring abundance and to clean out the temple so that everyone has access to God. And then what happens is in verse 18, the Jews, so it's kind of like the people who are around him, said to him, "What sign can you show us for doing this?" He's like, why are you cleansing this temple? And Jesus does one of his little mysterious little things. And he says, he answered them, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." And of course, that's where the big misunderstanding happens. So they, of course, are like, "We've been working on this temple for 46 years. We've built it with rocks and stones and jewels, and you can't do that. That's impossible." Of course, John then the narrator, John, pipes in and says, of course, Jesus was talking about his body, not the building. And this understanding only came to the disciples, and it only came after the resurrection. And so it's kind of interesting, but there's this awareness that Jesus is even aware that the human heart can't quite catch on to everything, and yet he continues to teach. He continues to put it out there, but faith takes time, but he still continues to put it out there. And I think that's a good reminder to pastors, to Sunday school teachers, to small group leaders, to covenant groups, that, people's faith journey revelation takes longer for some and shorter for others. And then, of course, you have those who think they know, and they're pretty positive they know, until something happens, and then they know. And so, but we as, facilitators of these groups and as supporters, encouragers, we've got to give it time and know that some people have to go through certain experiences before they fully understand. And we got to keep at it. Our job is never done. We keep at it. And then chapter 3 ends that it is now the Passover festival, and he was doing signs for people to believe in him. And so he and needed no one to testify about anyone, for he himself knew what was in everyone. So there's this sense that Jesus could see what was going on in people's hearts, and he was able to help in a way. And so it's just, but it's really vague. It's vague what Jesus was fully doing, but he was bringing people around, and he knew them by their hearts and making it happen. And so so that's chapter 2. Tomorrow we're going to get to one of my favorites. Oh my gosh. So Nicodemus. It's a deep one, but we'll get through it. And then I have to admit, then after that is the Samaritan woman at the well, another one of my favorites. So we've got some fun times ahead this week. So looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, and have a wonderful day filled with hope, faith, and joy. Bye.